It's Ann Arbor's 1071. Good morning. I'm Scott Vertical. And here on the line with me right now is unbelievable. It's an unbelievable thing to have happening for me right now. I am a fanboy of nine-time Grammy Award winner and 2023 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Sheryl Crow. Sheryl, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Scott. How are
Yeah,
you?
I am excellent. And I'm not kidding. I've been a fan since Tuesday Night Music Club. We were playing that on the radio back when I was a baby DJ. So I've been a fan for a long time.
What was it, 31 years ago, I guess?
Yeah, yes, it was.
Gosh.
Yeah, we don't like to think about the amount of time that has passed, but it was filled with
I was
lots of.
only 10 when it came out.
Oh, yeah. So you after your last album, Threads, in 2018, you said you weren't going to record any more albums. And now you're coming out with another one, your 11th studio LP, Evolution. How can we ever trust anything you ever say ever again if you are going to go back on your word like this?
You just can't. You, whatever comes into my mind, and sorry later. So I do feel the same. I feel the same way about making records.
Hmm.
That, to me, the tradition of it, growing up with records, beginning, middle, and an end, a project,
Sure.
a full body of work is sort of archaic now because of the way we get music and listen to it.
Right.
But this record, it was kind of an odd thing. I had a whole bunch of songs. I didn't want to produce them. I wanted somebody else to just blow my mind.
Hmm.
So I did a little bit of a dump on my friend Mike Elizondo, who is incredible.
Right.
Sent him a bunch of demos, and I said, "Are you interested in just like Martin Scorseseing these out? Creating?" And he just, he killed it. And we had an EP. We were just like a couple of songs short of an album, and we wanted to write anyway. So we wound up writing Alarm Clock and
Hmm.
finishing a song that we started 20 years ago, called Love Life.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get asked, why did you make another album? But I'm calling it a collection. It's a collection that is coming
Yes.
out on the same day, darling.
Okay, we'll not split hairs, and we'll call it a collection then.
Yeah.
And it's a very good collection. I've had a chance to listen to it over the last couple of days, and you are continuing a lot of the themes that you have written about on previous albums. And I feel like that it goes kind of through your music. For example, you sing a lot about like regular people, right? From all the way back when you're singing about Bill, Billy, or Mac or Buddy at the bar, or you can't afford gas, so you're stuck in watching TV. On this new album, you sing things like Alarm Clock, where, I don't want to deal with an alarm clock. And then, like in the song Do It Again, you talk about how you're doing the best that you can. Is that deliberate, or is that just naturally what you feel like writing about?
It is naturally, for me at this stage in my life, writing songs is almost like journaling, right?
Sure, sure.
So, Do It Again, I can safely say I have worn my mental challenges on my sleeve. I mean, people
Hmm.
have known all the way through my journey as an artist about the ups and downs that I've endured, and we all, I think, to a certain extent, are grappling with them now. And
Yeah.
life is a work in progress, and I do work on myself. I'm not embarrassed to say I've gone to therapists off and on.
Sure.
I've done um, a guided mushroom tour. It's all under the guise of being a person who can own and live joy, right?
Right, right.
Do It Again is basically that. I mean, we all go through these crazy journeys just to really continue to be our best selves, right?
Right.
Alarm Clock. I mean, you're a radio jock,
Yes.
right? So yeah, you
Yes.
gotta hate it. I was laughing because, I get up at 6 now to get my boys out the
Mm.
out the door to go to
Hmm.
school, and I can remember when 6 o'clock was when I got home. So
Oh, right. Yes.
yeah, no, the old rock and roll days.
Yeah. Well, you know who hates my
You
alarm?
write about what you know.
Exactly. Exactly. You know who hates my alarm clock more than me is my wife, because she doesn't need to get up at the same time I do. So,
Yes, I bet she does. I bet
yes,
she hates
she
it.
does not appreciate it. Um, One of the other things, themes that, and you touched on this a moment ago about like being there for each other and supporting each other, and you brought up Love Life, which is a sing along song, and I can't wait to hear it live. It's going to be a fun song for in an arena or any crowd, but it's literally about loving life, and I just think that's such a wonderful thing to spread out into the world, and I appreciate that very much. Um, and then the song "Waiting in the Wings" is about supporting somebody. And I think these things go together, like I got you, you got this. This life is going to be okay. And it's just such a nice feeling. And it closes the album, Waiting in the Wings. It's a nice one. Where did that one come from?
There are hard things on the album, and then there are things that are more um for me as a mom,
Hmm.
all these songs I write in the context of being a mom. It's hard
Yeah.
to explain the world to my kids. The
Hmm.
one thing I know I can say is that I'm always going to be here. When you want to come
Right.
home, or if you have hard things that you're going through, I'll be in the wings. I will be there when you have the biggest light shown on you, but I'll also be there when things are not so great. And that's what we do for each other. I definitely think about it more as I've seen, the statistic of young people who are taking their own lives, and you just
Yeah.
go, we need to be that for all of our friends. We need to reach out and check in on each other.
Hmm.
There's a song called "You Can't Change the Weather," and
Right.
the very end of it is, "You are never alone. You are never alone." But
Right.
sometimes we feel that way. So it takes all of us checking in on each other to say, "I just want to make sure you're good and you're okay." And that's what life is now,
Right.
especially when, there's so much social media, there's so much stuff coming at us that kind of tells us mean things about ourselves. And you just want to go, you know what? Look away from that for a minute, and you got a lot of people around you that love you, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, it's important to let that out. And I agree. In the last few years, I feel like everybody has had moments where they're like, I feel like I need to do something different. I need to reach out. I need to we were trapped in our houses by ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it got very difficult for a lot of people. And so and again, it's just one of those things that I appreciate about your lyrics is that they're just so welcoming and optimistic and supportive and inclusive, and it's a really wonderful album. The new album is wonderful to listen to. I just really like it.
You mean in the new collection?
Yes, the new collection. I'm sorry, my apologies. I really need to write that down. Hang on, collection. Okay. I asked our listeners on our social media for some questions. You want to take a couple of questions from some listeners?
Sure,
All
as
right.
long as it's not my phone number. I
All
won't
right. Now, okay. Sorry,
that one off.
Craig. Nope, Craig, we're not doing that one for you. Okay. Janet wants to know, and I thought this was an interesting question. You played with Peter Frampton at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or he was at the Hall of Fame ceremony with you. Do you feel like him appearing with you gave him the boost to finally be nominated this year?
Well, I can't lie to you.
Yeah.
Part of my inviting them there was to, he was my first concert.
Oh.
And I don't know how many people remember their first concerts. I feel
Hmm.
like probably most of us do.
Yeah.
It was a freaking game changer for me. I
Yeah.
mean, it's one thing when you're buying records and you're inviting your friends over because you're the one that got the record first, right?
Hmm.
That's what it was like for me when I was a kid. We shared in who's got what 45 and who's,
Yeah.
um, but the first rock concert, me and six of my little 14-year-old girlfriends going to see Peter Frampton playing, the album that was the biggest selling album of all time
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
And I'm getting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame first. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so I don't know if I had anything to do with it, but it was a moment where it felt like, you know what? Somebody needs to shine a light on what this guy's done. He was in Humble Pie. I mean,
Right.
nothing, but I'm gonna drag him along with me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I would go ahead and claim credit for that. I would go ahead and
No,
do
I
that.
don't. He deserves it.
Yes. Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And Jay wanted to know what was your reaction to being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? How does accolades like that feel?
Award shows for me have always been kind of squeamish.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a weird thing that happens. It's like, I'm so honored to be nominated. I'm so honored to be in this category. And then there's like the, oh gosh, what if I don't win? And then
Hmm.
you don't win and it's like, oh, bummer.
Right.
This was different because I grew up listening to the people that are in this
Yeah.
organization, this club or whatever. I grew up in a very small town, still a small town, mid-America, two, three stoplights.
Hmm.
Um, and to see my name with the Rolling Stones and Marvin Gaye and
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin and Johnny Cash and the Rolling Stones. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it is not not just humbling, but it's for me completely mind blowing.
Right. Yeah. It's fun to have those moments, huh? And then you say, "This is why I'm
Almost.
doing it." Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I'm standing on stage with Stevie Nicks, who literally is the person I wanted to grow up to be.
Right. Yeah. And it's amazing that you got to do that with all those folks, and I'm glad you're finally in there. I have one final question from Angela. She wants to know what kind of new music you're listening to.
Angela, I'm glad you asked. Gosh, there's so much good stuff out there. I go out every morning, I try to walk, 45 to an hour, and I listen
Hmm.
to what people are making. And I wind up listening to a lot of females because some of the best music is being made by
Yes.
females.
100%.
Love the Boy Genius record.
Hmm.
Love the new Olivia Rodrigo. I mean, I still love a lot of the old stuff. Like yesterday, I caught myself listening to um, Billy Preston, a live Billy Preston record. I
Yeah.
mean, it just depends on what mood I'm in. Love Lark and Poe. Got to see them last summer. They're amazing musicians. Love the new Allison Russell record.
Hmm.
I mean, there's just so much good stuff out there.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not
Well,
necessarily the biggest stuff, but
mhm. There are when you said a lot of the female artists, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening in that realm right now. And I would imagine that a lot of them would claim you as an inspiration to do what they do. So that must be kind of nice.
I will say I'm going to take complete and total credit for all these young artists. No, I honestly, it makes me squeamish to hear that.
Yeah.
That for me is the height of a compliment
Hmm.
because I know how much the people that inspired me mean to me. Stevie
Yeah.
being one of them, Emmylou Harris being one of them, Linda Ronstadt being one of them. And it is no joke when you're a young kid and you hear somebody sing and it makes you want to do the same thing. So
Right.
I feel very, if I am an inspiration to people, that is very sweet.
It's almost certainly true. Sheryl, thanks for taking time today. Before we let you go, I want to talk about the title track from the album Evolution. Fellow Hall of Famer Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine just happens to be on it.
Is that insane? What he did on that track. I mean,
Yeah.
there are a lot of funny little coincidences on this record, but he and I both were getting inducted.
Hmm.
Song is about AI, and I sent just a guitar demo to Mike, and he created this really like literally like a sci-fi movie
Hmm.
around it. And he's like, "Who should we get to play this solo?" And he literally was like, "What about Tom Morello?" And I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!"
Yep.
And Tom just like killed it.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, I don't even know how he played it. I'm just like, I want to see his guitar sounds like a rubber band. I mean, it's just like it's crazy. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And here, like I was listening to the track, I'm like, well, that's Tom Morello before I even knew that he
Knew
was
it?
on it. Yeah, you could tell. You can tell.
Yeah.
And he absolutely crushed it. And you were talking about the concerns about AI. And again, I know we're going to let you go here in a second, but things like this. You're very aware of things like this. Like 25 years ago, you were testifying at Congress about copyright law, right? And so, I mean, you seem to have these things on the top of your mind as a songwriter, right?
I do, but also as a human being. And I am
Right.
very protective of art because art is the one thing I think that documents our humanity throughout our evolution. I
Hmm.
mean, we are still studying hieroglyphics,
Right.
the Mayan hieroglyphics to find out who they were. And they were documenting it
Right.
in the way that they knew how to do. And in order to protect the human spirit, which is what is the inspiration that goes into making art, to bring AI in that has been programmed and is learning and teaching itself, to bring that in, I feel like it's something we're all going to have to deal with. I
Yeah.
find it to be dangerous and alarming, especially when we're sort of at a moment where we're already having trouble not only discerning the truth, but wanting to know the truth.
Hmm.
Kind of just want our algorithms to feed back to us what we already think. And so yeah, that's what the song is about. And the one hopeful thing about it is that yeah, the human spirit is in us. AI is never going to have compassion or empathy or feel pain or anything like that. So
Yeah, very true. Well, again, thank you so much for your time today. Evolution, the new album is the new collection is out on March 29th. You can pre-order it now at SherylCrow.com. I really appreciate your time today. We're going to end up with we're going to play Evolution from the new album, the title track. It's Ann Arbor's 1071. Sheryl Crow, thanks again for joining us today.
thanks for having me, Scott. It's been fun.